You're listening to Health Professional Radio. My name is Wayne Buckler, and this morning my guest is Professor Belinda Beck of the Bone Clinic. Now, we're talking to Belinda because the Bone Clinic, while it sounds like a movie, is in fact something quite new. It's a world-first approach. Welcome to Health Professional Radio, Belinda.
Thanks, Wayne.
Now, tell us a little bit about the Bone Clinic.
The Bone Clinic is a culmination of about 25 years of research in the area of exercise and bone for me, and I've partnered up with a person who was a weightlifting champion, performing Olympic weightlifting, which is a specialised kind of weightlifting, heavy weights. We have decided to form a clinic to put some of our research findings into practice, because we've been recently conducting the Lift More trial with osteoporotic women and been finding that this particular exercise program of Lisa's is having fantastic results.
Now, many of our listeners are clinicians, both nurses, doctors and allied health professionals, but they're going to be very familiar with osteoporosis because it is a growing problem, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, there's millions of people are going to be affected by it, and even more as our population ages. It's really an enormous problem. I'm not sure that people are aware of what a big problem it is. You know, we have fractures happening every couple of minutes, and those fractures are oftentimes hip fractures, which are very, very traumatic. Although they are not always life-threatening, they can be. Particularly for men, after 6 months' time, many older men actually do die from that particular incident. But more importantly, well, not more importantly, but as importantly, the loss of independence. The people do tend to be to move out of the community and into higher care facilities after a hip fracture.
Yes, it's typically one of those stories, isn't it? Mum's moved into a nursing home because she broke a hip.
Yeah,
now,
exactly right.
Now, generally, osteoporosis is one of those diseases that involves, generally, I guess, the GP to start with, and then x-rays and radiology clinics, and then the dietitians, and then the whole range of providers. What's the Bone Clinic doing that's different here?
We've decided to put everything under the one roof, and not only that, to really target our service to bone. So in the past, when doctors are faced with a patient who has, or they suspect they have osteoporosis, so maybe they've had a low trauma fracture, they will send them for a bone scan to a radiology clinic, and then the patient typically will have to come back and discuss their options with them. And then the doctor will, normally, if they have a very low bone mass and they're at increased risk of a second fracture, they'll normally be prescribed some medication. The uptake of that medication is very poor. Now, the alternative to that for someone who is at high risk of fracture are very, very minimal. So the typical recommendation is, well, if you're not going to take the drugs, then your only alternative is exercise, vitamin D and calcium. The vitamin D and calcium, arguably is something that is reasonably easy to manage. But the exercise recommendations to this point have been pretty ordinary, I have to say, and this is coming from someone who's been involved in developing these recommendations, because in the past we have thought that people with very low bone mass can't do the kinds of exercise that bone likes, and that exercise is the really high intensity, heavy weights, high impact, because we always thought that it would cause the fractures we're trying to prevent. Now the fact of the matter is, Lisa came to me and said, I'm doing this particular exercise program with very heavy weights, and I'm getting fantastic results from my women who are coming to me with osteoporosis. And I said, what are you doing? And she explained it, and I said, you can't be serious. And I needed some proof. She showed me some proof that she was getting good results. And she also assured me that she wasn't getting any injuries. So I thought, okay, well, this is too good to be true, because she was getting better results than any research study I'd ever seen or read about. So I happened to have a physio student who wanted to do a PhD. So we put together a project, or a randomized controlled trial, using this program, 100 women, and we randomly allocated them to a very low intensity, your typical osteoporosis workout, and this really high intensity, heavy weight lifting program. And right now we're in the middle of that. We haven't quite finished, but we've got about 35 women back with having had their follow-up scans, and we've just got these fantastic results where they are improving bone, they're massively improving their muscle strength, but best of all, nobody's injured. And this, as far as I'm concerned, there's a justification to have a bone clinic where you're actually providing supervised, targeted exercise for osteoporosis. So finally, doctors will have somewhere that you can actually recommend people go, where you know they'll be safe and they'll get an effective exercise prescription.
That's interesting, isn't it? That, well, I guess in fairness, I talk to a lot of researchers, and I shouldn't be surprised, but I always am, at how often kind of the results of evidence-based research quite contradict the kind of conventional wisdom on how things are done.
Yeah, I would agree, and it's because we are all very conscious about not doing any harm, and I'm not a physician, and I'm an exercise scientist, and so I'm not in a position to be prescribing any particular clinical therapy. I have 3 physios on my supervisory team, or on the 2 physios and 1 physio student working with this. So we designed the program to have a very gradual lead-in, because we were so terrified that we were going to hurt somebody. But after a while we thought, we don't even need to go that slowly with these women. We can introduce this much quicker, and we're still not getting any injuries. So you're right, it's surprising, but it just takes a leap of faith.
Yes. Now, Belinda, do people need a referral to come to the clinic?
They don't. If they want some reimbursement for various, we're sort of operating under a GPMP sort of a framework, and so if they wanted to come and have reimbursable visits, they could. Our plan is to have maybe 2 visits with the dietitian, because finding calcium-rich foods can be quite challenging for people. So a bit of a diet analysis and then some recommendations, and then spending the rest of the visit with our exercise physiologist, who is then going to teach them how to do these exercises. And then after that, it's up to them, whether they come and sort of take on it's a bit like a gym membership, to come and do the workout with us, where it's fully supervised and under really safe conditions. And Lisa originally ran a gym for women with osteoporosis, and she has, basically I call them her cheer squad, because all her women love her, and she has women who are going to follow her from her old gym and keep working out with us at the bone clinic. So that's pretty much how it will run.
It sounds like something that will get a lot of attention as soon as word gets around that it's available, because osteoporosis is one of those things that sufferers do look for a better solution than they're currently getting, I think, generally. Where can they find you?
We're at Cooperoo in Brisbane, and so I used to be a Brisbane girl. I am no longer, but so I live at the Gold Coast, so I'm no good for giving directions. But we have a website, which is www.theboneclinic.com.au, and all the information's on there. It's got information about the program, where we are, what we do, what your options are. You can sign up for us to contact you. There's also some testimonials.
So, Belinda, people can find you at www.theboneclinic.com.au. I assume there are photos and testimonials. You were talking about off-air the Dowger's Hut. Right. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so many of the women that come into to our program, our Lift More program, have already, if not a pronounced thoracic kyphosis or dowager's hump, at least some kind of deformity starting, and doing a lot of our back extension exercises has made them straighten up. And so not only are they looking straighter, but this straightened posture, and this is the thing that did my head in, is actually making them grow. So we have a significant difference between our control group and our intervention group right now of about a little over half a centimetre in height, just because people are standing up straighter, and we have images showing that difference on the website.
It will be a fascinating paper to read when it's published, I'm sure, and I'm going to head off now and have a look at the website because I'm intrigued. Professor Belinda Beck, thank you for being with us this morning. If you've just joined us and missed our interview, we have a transcript on our website and a SoundCloud archive, and it's on YouTube as well. It's at www.hpr.fm. My name is Wayne Buckler. This is Health Professional Radio.